More fun with functional printing. Today I built a PVC adapter for my rain barrels. I have a large rain barrel array. I had an old PVC pipe that was basically glued into the rain barrel hole. Um, this was just an old thing before I had any of the SLS printing capabilities, so I thought maybe it'd be time to fix this by replacing the glued adapter with an actual thing that threads into the barrel. It took me a little while to clean up the surfaces, and it was leaking. It just wasn't working the way it was supposed to. It was also hideous. Not that anybody was looking on the top of my rain barrels, but personally I just couldn't stand to have it like this. So I wanted to use the SLS printing to clean it up a bit, make it adapt perfectly. So this particular barrel has fine threads on the hole, so I just modeled up a typical profile based on the measurements from the cap, and then built similar dimensions for the PVC inlet. I exported in different meshes, but I tried to use the finest mesh from my sintering printer. Fired up the printer. I also loaded it up with lots of other models. If I'm going to fire up a full bed, this one was 1067 layers. I might as well pack it with as many other models as possible. After running for about 24 hours, the job was done. It finished with 4 extra layers. I actually counted it. So, and I did an early forced sintering to eliminate some of the early layers as well. I think I only let it run 10 layers in the beginning, and it ended with 4 extra layers. So probably was about as big as you can get. We're talking about 4/10 of a millimeter of a buffer, so it was right on. Uh, Basically lifted up the cake, pulled out the big clump. I used a little bit of a hotter temp on this one because I wanted to make sure it sintered on the outside edges. Also, I purchased a Wi-Fi power supply, so now I have a remote e-shutoff. Here's me just testing it out. So now when I'm using my video, when I'm using my video setup, I can also turn off the printer if I see anything wrong remotely. Like I said, I packed this thing full of models. I think I got about 100 models in here, in addition to the large adapter that I'm making for the rain barrels. So just hacking away at some of the remaining parts here, trying to separate them. You can start to see the adapter in there. It's here I'm actually cleaning up my extra. I'm always going to recycle as much as I can. This particular model used 75% old powder. I would have actually used more old powder, but I'm just out of old powder, so I keep having to add new powder just to fill it up. So here, just breaking apart some of the other models that are in there and cleaning them up. There, you can kind of see the adapter there, so removing some of the powder that was in between all the parts, and yeah, just hacking apart. So there's the adapter, snapping it off of the rest. The adapter is just a big pipe, so I filled the pipe with also extra parts. Used a dental pick to try to break it apart from between all the other pieces. You know, every void is sinterable space, so fill it up. Filled up the inside of my pipe with extra models. All the other models were used for a different project, but it just goes to show you can really fill the bed full of geometry. And I'm just using a wire brush to clean up the inside and the outside of the adapter. This just gets rid of any extra powder that's on there, makes it kind of smooth. This really turned out nice. I used a bunch of arrays, polar arrays when I modeled it, so it has that nice little grippy filigree on it. And then just use a toothbrush to clean it up. Finished product. So that's what the typical barrel cap looks like, and you can see that mine fits pretty much the same. And then that's the elbow that I want to use for the rain. Let's go test it out. It threads in pretty tight, so my measurements were on, but it's snug. It took a little bit of force to get it in, but it does fit. So then I pulled it out and I dabbed a little bit of silicone on there just to add some extra waterproofing to it. But judging by how tight it is, I don't think it really needs it. So there's a little bit of silicone just to fill the threads in case there's any possible leakage. And that's the finished product. The elbow just slides in. It's perfect fit. I did put a little bit of silicone on that as well, just to seal it up when it was all finished. And that's the test fit. There we go. Finished rain barrel adapter.